It's AV SuperFriends First Friday Live, a short, often impromptu show streamed live to the socials and usually on the correct day, the first Friday of the month. We've collected 2 or 3 topics, news stories, product announcements, social media posts, or email listserv messages, and we'll give you our honest opinions in about 15 minutes or less, or your money back. Offer not valid in some states. The show starts now. For whatever today's date is, I'm not looking at it right now, and it doesn't matter. It's first Friday of the month, so we're doing First Friday live. So right now, with very little announcement, we are going to start streaming live every Friday. So whether it's First Friday, On Topic, Off the Rails, or special live specials, we'll just be doing this at this time or thereabouts, live every week.
This exact time or sometime close to this.
On or about this time, on or about this day-ish. Sometimes we shift that.
Build yourself an invite. Get it in your calendar.
Usually Fridays at about noon-ish Pacific, 3-ish Eastern.
Whatever this is now. Wherever you're at, like rough to mid around this time, that's when we're going to be here.
3:30-ish.
Well, we'll try to go earlier.
Dang it, I'm an hour early.
All right. So we've got a handful of stories, listserv posts, social media posts, all that fun stuff we're going to hash through here in our 15 minutes or less, which we'll bring up here on this thing.
From Chris. He will pay you with the cash in his pocket, which is probably $9.
All right.
It was $11.
Don't have my wallet with me. I'll go check.
Dang it.
Okay, so in no particular order, there's 3 of these here we're going to cover right now. 3 posts on the commercial AV Discord / subreddit on career movement, which we thought was of interest.
There was a lot of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and it's always good conversation. One said, simply next career move, other than being an assistant design engineer, are there any other positions between technician and design engineer? So interesting one. How do you move from technician into kind of the engineer phase, or is there something in between, et cetera? Someone else asked how to learn AV design. I started in live events, have a lot of experience in audio, video, lighting, and production. I moved into corporate AV, became a project manager. Currently an audio-visual project manager for a huge organization, but not doing as much true AV as I want to. How do I start learning the design aspect to land a role for an integrator? So, interesting one there.
My blanket take on both of those?
Wait, go one more.
Oh, go. Yeah, fire it up.
And the third one is, how do I transition into programming and design from a service tech role? Currently in AV service tech, I want to transition more into the programming design side of AV, started doing QSys, et cetera, completed AMX programmer, blah, 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 blah. So any advice for progressing career-wise? I'm not going to read the whole thing. Any advice for progressing career-wise in AV would be greatly appreciated. So again, 3 kind of comments on how do I go from kind of an entry level or support tech, or even one kind of doing project management. They moved away from like design aspects of AV. How do they get into design and programming, and what's that career path look like?
Blanket statement, go work in higher ed.
The first person who says get your CTSD, I'm going to
go work in higher ed. You'll do all those things. You will not have a nice, cozy little job title that's one of those aspects. You'll get to do all of it.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, find a corporate and or a higher ed job and go do it all.
Go do everything.
Cut your teeth there. They're going to pay for your training. You're not. Typically, your hours are better.
Not always.
Typically. And when you fail, I mean, you have to fix it. So it's not like it's I don't know.
Because it's your fault.
Because it's your fault, right? So you got to fix it, and you're not, losing profits most of the time, and you won't. Then you go make your money, get paid by somebody else. But even Larry told me one time, don't go to the private world; it'll suck.
Yeah, it does.
So I read through a lot of this, and a lot of the answers were like completely wrong. Like, oh, you have to have Vectorworks, and you have to have AutoCAD, and you have to do this, and you have to have this software, and you have to this.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. You don't have to have any of that shit.
Willing to learn and go do it.
No, hold on. Even before that, if you don't understand how to listen and communicate,
I'm sorry. What do you say? What? I'm
sorry. Pay attention. What was that?
You cannot do this job.
Well, you can.
Bottom
you can do this job. You just
can't do it.
No,
very
you're
well.
not a designer. You're a consultant.
Yeah, I've met consultants that do it like that all the time.
They talk at you. They tell you what you need. They talk in manufacturers. They don't listen to the actual solution. That's number one. If you can't do that shit, you might as well just go back to being a programmer or whatever your other job is.
Back to any of those things. They're all part of the puzzle. You have to do all of them. And I think as we move forward, you'll see less segmented, comfy little things like this. It's always
Yeah.
fascinating when I work with an integration firm and I have these segmented, like firewalled people that I have to work with. It's like, wait, can I just talk? Oh, no, you got to go talk to the programming engineer / commissioning interface client. He's not even part of our organization. He only works on Sundays. And it's like, why?
That sounds
Why
like a
can't I just
doctor.
talk to some one person oversees all this? Oh, you're talking about the PM? Well, they don't work ever. So I'm like, well,
Amen.
how the hell do I get a hold of them? So
They work remotely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
They're in
it's always
Canada.
fascinating when I see these posts where these very granular job position identities. I'm like, man, that is cushy. Like, could you imagine just doing like, I just make the line drawing.
Let's
Dude,
call
I
it
would-
draft.
That
Let's
would-
call it
that
draft.
That would be so boring.
Right. Well, like, why would you
can't-
want to do that day in and day out? I mean, I'm not
Well,
throwing
all
it
right.
on the bus, but
That
like,
was one of that was one of the
Fundamentally,
biggest
all three of
down-
these are asking, though, how do you progress in your career?
fair.
And what we've said is just go do it, which is not a real answer. I would say look up what training is out there available. If you need to do it on your own dime, which I have done, so be it. That will pay dividends down the road, whether that's certifications, professional degrees, whatever it may be. Look into training. If you are not actively involved in training throughout your entire career, you're doing it wrong, because that means you are missing it, and technology doesn't change ever again. So I'm glad you're stuck in 2011.
And it's not
also-
really even corely about the technology. I mean, you really need to understand standards too.
everything.
I mean, there's a lot
There's
that you
math,
have to.
there's physics,
Yes,
there's
physics.
ergonomics, there's items about visual acuity. You have to know all this crap because no one else will. I'm working with a guy now, he's new to my team, and I made a comment about something. He's like, well, we didn't do that. I'm like, but we're here now and we have to
doing
take
it.
care of it.
Yeah.
So he's learning that. But I mean, that's part of AV
learn
is you're the
ADA
last ones in the
standards.
project. So
Go- yeah,
ADA
go-
is huge.
Go pick something you really like, specialize in it too. Any of those
Yeah.
aspects, like be known for doing that whole thing and representing that use case.
I mean, I would say that being familiar with manufacturers and the boxes is probably last on the list.
No, yeah.
I'm about to make Justin angry, but learning sales, taking a couple sales courses is valuable too. Because
It
if you
ain't
can learn how
valuable.
to communicate, how to, I'm telling you, it
Sales
will do
is not
more-
communication.
It will
Bottom-
do
you
more
are
for your
not-
career to be able to communicate well in front of the client than you will ever realize.
That is not sales. That's communication.
Well,
That's
yeah,
why
but
we
the
have
sales
two
training
different-
gets you there.
There's two different departments on campus. There's a sales department and there's a communication department. They are not the same. They
guys have a
teach two
sales
different
department?
Is
things.
one selling
Yeah,
communications?
it's in a business college. We have a whole sales program. Sales. Yeah, it's
Just getting those boats out in the water. All right.
yep.
All right. So yeah, it is not a clean cut or clean and clear cut. It's not a clear cut pathway for career advancement. Learn what you can, get involved in things that are slightly above your pay grade or beyond your level, whatever. Help out a little bit, and you'll start to be.
But I don't think,
start to
don't
progress in
set
that.
like these little tiny microcosm steps. If I need this little position, like be
Yeah.
willing to do as much as you possibly can of all of it.
Big
And
jumps.
I think that even on current job sites and things, you'll find that when you start maybe you are just this install tech now and you have the remote support from the programmer. Pick their brains if you can be, when they're doing, I know you don't always get this pleasure, but when they're remoting in, watch what they're doing. Ask them questions about it. Quite honestly, seriously, just put some things together on this. I put it together. The parts you pull out, sometimes if you're programming, sometimes you're removing parts. Learn how those work.
You can
It's-
really tell when a designer designs a rack elevation when they've never built a rack.
Yes, and if you've built a rack, you know how it goes
Sideways. When the hell are we racking these things vertically?
I leave no space anywhere. Why do you have to reach in there?
It's
Well, I
wasteful.
use the rear and the front rails and then all my
Offset
connectors
them.
are right there together.
Yeah,
so all
then-
my wires are shorter. So
We're
it saves
saving
money.
so much on cables. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
I like that.
But yeah, the number of really solid, senior or experienced technicians who also load DSP programs or can get in and configure devices, that is hugely helpful, and that builds that career path towards design or towards engineering, towards programming, whatever. So notice what we didn't say was step one is go get your fucking CTS or your CTSD. Knock that shit off. So those are valuable things. That is not step one in any process.
Dang it.
So as much as I value all my certifications, step one is not just like, I went and got this certification.
It is not the gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it'll get your foot in the door, but you better be able to put up or shut up. So, okay, sorry.
Moving on. Next. Cue it up.
Next topic here, wireless casting, which, as Larry said a few minutes ago, why the hell are we talking about this again?
Yeah. Seriously.
Somebody here keeps asking about it, and it's not me.
I am keeping. I'll tell you all about it. So wireless casting. Our conference room has a mounted projector, and I need to find an HDMI receiver device that doesn't require a dongle. Chromecast works within the browser, organization security, blah, 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 blah. So let's talk about wireless for a minute here.
Can you describe in detail a dongle?
It's a dingly dangle.
The dingly dangle dongle.
So there's basically two types of these devices. There's the secure ones that require a dongle because it's point-to-point. It works great all the time. You don't have to deal with Wi-Fi networking. Then there's the ones that want to live on your enterprise network and include things like annotation, multiple,
Digital signage,
multiple screen sharing, all this stuff. Don't buy those. Knock it off.
I've done a complete 180 on this. Just like you said, I when I originally went down this path, it was put it on the enterprise. Just use the enterprise wireless. It'll be wonderful. And it was until the first software update. And I am now back into the what's wrong with plugging the little HDMI dongle or USB-C dongle in and pressing the. Now, I'm going to say clicking the button, but I do not encourage the clicky named device. That is not what I'm
here's
asking
the thing.
for.
The reason I brought up there's two of
the
these.
little
There's
dongles.
There's a third way to do this, which is the correct way. The third way is to do by content sharing through some sort of central cloud service, Teams, Zoom, Google Connect, whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. WebEx.
That's the easy, cheapest way.
And that's probably the best way because it doesn't expand your hardware. It doesn't expand your software. It doesn't expand anything your system's doing. Where the dongle ones make sense to me, and I'm happy to argue with you guys, where the dongle ones make sense are for non-university people. I don't want to deal with crossing VLANs to guest networks. I don't want to deal with having to set up a temporary account. I don't want to deal with any of that crap.
Event spaces is what you're talking about.
Event spaces, exactly.
Event spaces, also the FDC building, the facilities group. They have outside consultants and guys in there all the time. It's good to have a way to get them on without.
Hand this off to your architect. They plug it in. They hit the button. Pow, picture. And there's about 27
do those guys
manufacturers who make
really
these.
need to be wireless though?
Well,
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Are they sitting down in a room that's within like 20 feet of the display?
Look, buddy, they need.
I'm just asking for a friend.
No,
A lot of times they're at a table with a projector over there. So yeah.
Yeah, listen, they need it.
Over there.
It's required.
keep in mind.
And an old style conference phone, the octopus thing that sits in the middle of the table.
And we can go back and remind everybody that the most well-engineered, well-installed, and best operating wireless system is almost as good as a $10 cable.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So, Mark, you're not wrong. Hand them a 20-foot HDMI cable. That works all the time. But that's not clean and sexy. So,
Yeah, but I think having this weird dongle hanging off the side of your laptop's not clean and sexy either.
We can make it clean and sexy. I mean,
for those 5% use cases where I need to get an outside person in there and I don't want to mess with accounts, plug this in, push the button.
I get you.
Yeah.
I'm not sold. You're not a very good salesperson there, Chris.
Well, I didn't take
all
your
about
sales
communication.
program at
Try
Western
again.
Kentucky. So.
Yeah.
I'm a better communicator than I'm a salesperson. So.
All
Sorry,
right.
any other thoughts on wireless? Oh, by the way, please stop buying $1,000 wireless appliances that don't seem to
Or
really do much.
service.
It's getting
Services.
more expensive out there for wireless. This shit's like $2,000 for one solution I saw. I was like, why would you do that?
Does it work as good as just like the wireless keyboard and mouse? I don't know.
Well, now that you can get a subscription, it's awesome.
Ooh, better. Yeah.
Subscription mice.
License fee annually.
All right. Do you
What
want to do
else?
the maturity curve or you want to tease our last one here in our last 2 minutes?
Let's do them both. Let's challenge ourselves.
Okay. This one comes from LinkedIn, so Larry has to go find that post now.
Good luck, Larry.
This comes from LinkedIn, and it's titled "AV and Technology Design Maturity Curve," and it was
Zoom
just kind of
is
one of
the
these,
way, Cam.
one of
Zoom is the way.
these big articles about where your organization should be and how
Let's just. This was AV and technology design maturity, overlaid directly on the Gartner curve.
This was somebody went to
Verbatim.
ChatGPT and typed it in and then
Yes.
wrote an article.
Even the headers were exactly the same: the chaotic, reactive, controlled, managed, and the final one optimized. Like those seem awfully the same to me, and it's not wrong. What we're seeing here is
In
not
an
wrong.
objective sense, it is not wrong.
No, but it's just like, really?
Does it
We
touch
really-
reality?
Did we have to go through and put all that in there? And I hope we're all striving to be optimized at some level. but it was just fascinating that I felt like I was reading and seeing the slides from a Gartner.
This sounds like you got had by clickbait. Did you get had by
Got
clickbait?
had. I wasn't. It came into Chris by way of somewhere, and I clicked. I was
Chris
like,
got
this
it.
is a Gartner.
I was on my weekly LinkedIn.
You got
visit.
hit by clickbait?
I don't think it's clickbait.
Putin got him. Yep.
I'll be honest. Where this came up was I believe somebody responded. Somebody who I follow on LinkedIn responded, and this is great, sort of thing. And I looked at him like,
Is it?
oh,
Is it great?
It's not wrong, but is it great? I don't know. But anyway, okay. That was all we needed to put on that. It's fascinating. Read it, and you're all going to come away with,
Yeah,
that's kind
somebody
of what
got
we're
paid
doing.
for a ChatGPT description. So it was awesome.
It was great the first time.
10 years ago.
How many times did you read it?
let's talk about Six Sigma. All right. So then our last one here we'll tease in our last little bit here. This was a topic that came up about specifically about multiple or oddball aspect ratios in room systems. We don't have time to delve into that now. We don't have time to cover it. We're going to cover that in an upcoming episode later this month to go into
Again,
but we're going into like here's what we keep seeing from kind of the manufacturer sales side, and here's what
Sales.
we're actually deploying over here.
Sales.
And, no, a lot of manufacturers are pushing the same stuff, Justin. So
It's all from sales.
I get it, but that's coming from the manufacturers who you use. So the same person saying, "Hey, since you buy our little box, what you need to do is this," and it's not. It doesn't align with the higher.
I'm
ed
kind of
environment.
seeing some of the even the manufacturers are kind of like, well, this is what people are asking for, so we're going to provide you with a thing.
What
are
but we
they?
don't-
Who are
no, no,
these
no.
these
people?
people, yeah.
Hold on.
Where are they
Let
at?
me come back around. But these people would be like the consultant
30?
What do you mean
sales
by
engineers.
these people?
The consultants
34 by
sales
9 is the
engineers are
future.
telling you you've got to have this thing. And
Some
but I mean,
wackadoo
we've
one,
talked.
yeah.
Look, we have lots of friends in manufacturing circles, and they're even going, "Oh my God, why are we doing this?"
I just did
I'll be
it.
honest. I tried to buy a 21 by 9 monitor. I actually tried to do it, not for Teams rooms, but for digital signage. You know what I was told? You can't because it's special this and special that, and it has to be special, special, special. I'm like, this does not seem scalable. This does not seem like it belongs on a university campus.
Actually, it is scalable because you need a scaler to make it work. So there.
That's not the scalable I was talking about, Larry.
It's different. So yeah, we're going to dive deep into this one because I think that there's a lot of nuance in here. And I've been lucky enough to have to do some Teams room deployments. I have some specific insight into this whole thing.
How many 21 by 9s?
Spoiler,
did you put
none.
in?
Some big ass screens, and none of them are 21 by 9. And then we'll talk about the nuance when we get there.
Well,
because I
Mark,
think
I've
it's
been waiting
important.
all episode to say it, but you're doing it wrong apparently.
Apparently. I mean, if it's just
go
about
cash my check.
the Teams room, hold on to your butts because it's a whole thing.
So we'll
What
dive
it
into that.
comes, what it really comes down to is that our rooms are not big enough to do 21 by 9 and
They're
still
not tall
complete.
enough.
They're not large enough. We
Your
don't have the
wallet's not big
ceilings,
enough, sir.
We don't have the wallet size. We don't have the ceiling heights. It's not
Listen,
scalable. The shit
go
ain't gonna
down-
happen. It
Go
ain't
down
happening.
to the Colonel Sanders Endowment Fund and get yourself a big cash check. Come
You need to
on.
raise
just-
the roof, buddy.
Oh, I thought, Jamie, I thought you were going to say fill the room with popcorn and pop the roof higher or something.
Fried chicken, buddy.
Anybody doing AV design out there, the first part of your design is make your roofs taller. That's the
Yes.
first step.
Oh,
Solve so
try.
many
whenever the
problems.
I
roof
try.
is, when you look at plans and you see that it has a high ceiling, don't you like, wow, awesome? I can actually do something nice with this.
We can do.
Yeah, we don't have any money. We don't have no money for it right now, though, Jamie. We're gonna have to do that later.
And then there's a revision that comes out 8'6". And you're like,
Shit.
Wait,
We
you
got
went
another
from
floor in there on top of that. We fit another.
Squeeze
You
one
went
in.
got one more floor.
Just
No,
push
that
the whole
happened
building
to
down.
one of our buildings. They took a foot off of every floor to save money.
What did they do with that foot?
Yeah, was it afterwards?
Holy
Was somebody renting out that foot
ours
later?
is usually they
Well, you know
lower
how
it
they
so
calculate
the
it.
HVAC costs go down.
They calculate
The load.
these estimates in cubic and square feet. So if you take a foot off of every floor, you save millions of dollars.
On paper. It's
Holy
4 times as
shit.
much to deploy it that way. They still
That's-
buy the
I'm-
beams and cut it
I'm
off, so it doesn't
serious.
really matter.
So yeah, it's because
Couple of guys
of
up there with
architects.
sledgehammers shortening the roof.
It's the architects trying to save money is the reason why we can't do 21 by 9. You two figure it out. Leave us out of it.
I'll be happy when we can
Leave
do 9
AV
by
out of it.
21.
Architects and Microsoft, you all deal with that shit.
Don't worry about it.
All
They
right,
got
stay tuned.
They got Copilot on it. They're on it.
Copilot's gonna take care of all that.
Ask
for you.
that. All right. So
Get us out of here, Chris.
I forgot to turn on our phones again. We're going to need to remember to do that
Yeah,
moving forward.
those of you
so-
standing by waiting to call.
Sorry.
Oh.
Well, we're going to start lighting up the phones so you can call in during our regular shows to interrupt the shit out of stuff. We'll see how that goes. But In the
We
meantime,
want to hear from people that are on the ladder trying to figure out how to wire it.
we're still waiting for that like job.
Somehow
site
you're listening
call.
to us on the ladder. That we're intrigued by how you're going about that. Let us know how. And
Pin 2 is
Pin
hot.
2 is hot.
But
Yeah.
you might have to flip them. 232 always takes 3 tries.
yes,
Just touch the white wire.
as does
It's
USB.
shocking.
It's the other way. First rule of AV is always the other way.
All right, thanks everybody. Be back next week. We did it. A short show just for the first Friday of the month, usually. Follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter to join us next time. And you'll find the full slate of recorded podcasts and everything else we do at our website, avsuperfriends.com.